Well, let's get some further insight tonight about the peace deal. International relations expert Richard Stoll from Rice University is joining us. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It's an important day. We've seen those images of the hostages being reunited with the families. Did you ever think this day would come?
If you had asked me, I would have said it's possible, but it's still a gigantic event. Even if you were convinced it would happen, it's a gigantic deal.
Well, it did take a long time to get to this point. I think some of us may have thought that this would have ended faster than it did, dragged on for 2 years. So President Trump is getting a lot of credit for making this peace deal happen. How much credit do you think he really deserves?
I think he deserves a fair amount of credit. You needed, however, the different parties to agree to make this happen. It wasn't just because he said, I want you to do this, but I think he deserves credit, and we'll see how far the peace process actually goes.
It is interesting. What are some of those sticking points of the plan that you think are some of the most important things that we should be paying attention to?
Well, again, I think it's wonderful all the people were released on both sides. That's terrific, and nothing's going to change that. But if we talk about a permanent peace, we're going to have a Palestinian state as well as, of course, the state of Israel. And that raises some issues. Number one, what happens to Hamas, who did all this stuff? What happens to them? But number two, all right, so we're going to have a Palestinian state. Who is going to run that? And what will their attitude be toward Israel? So lots of uncertainty.
Yeah, that's a big point there. Do you believe that this peace plan will actually last?
I don't think there's 100% chance of that, but as I said, as a minimum, a lot of people were released and are going on to live their lives now in a way they couldn't do 2 or 3 days ago. So that's a big accomplishment. A final peace deal, we'll just have to wait and see. I certainly hope it happens, and a lot of people want it to, but as I say, who's going to be running Palestine?
Well, right, and the Gaza Strip area is really, what we've been talking about, and then negotiating with a terrorist group, Hamas. Are you surprised at the outcome that we've landed on, considering how violent that group is?
Well, I think there's a desire that who's ever going to run Palestine not be Hamas. I don't quite see how we are going to make that happen. How are you going? What are you just going to tell them to get out?
Yeah.
That's not going to work. So that's a big uncertainty.
All right. Well, Richard Stoll from Rice University, thanks so much for updating us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.